This is another tricky one, and I picked it because it's something that I need to work on. I'm not perfect at this whole abundance conversation, and I know that a lot of you feel the same way. So let's have a brainstorm, chat about it, and see what we can come up with today. I've got some fun stuff to share, and I would love your input as we go along. Let me know what comes up for you. And the question may be out there for you as well as it is for me. This question about why is it that some of us seem to have this ease around finances. This phrase, happy-go-lucky, comes to mind, which is an interesting one in relation to money and finances as well. What is it about those people, and what do they have that maybe some of us are missing? What is it that some of us seem to always be in this struggle around money, around finances? What is the difference? That's kind of the question that is pervading all of this conversation today. As always, it's helpful to look at what we can control. Talk a lot about how we're being here, our energy, our perspectives on the world over at the Alchemy of Happiness. That's the stuff that we can control. There are always going to be external circumstances that are out of our control. But what can we come back to that we can control? That would be how we relate to this conversation. Those beliefs that we have about abundance, about money, about the energy of it all. In that video that I put out earlier in the week on Monday to introduce the theme, I mentioned, what if there is a correlation between our emotional well-being and money? What if there is that correlation between emotional well-being and money? Does our perspective on the world reflect one of abundance or one of lack? Interesting things that we can look at to take responsibility for how things are showing up to us in the world. Now, this does go back to that conversation we started maybe a couple weeks ago on whether or not we think that the universe is out to support us. It's very related to that, this abundance conversation. And this, I mentioned in the beginning that this is something that I need to work on. I'm not perfect at this abundant thinking. This is a growth process for me, and this is one layer of it, to be able to tackle it with you all. I wanted to work on this today because every little layer that I can take a look at my thoughts around abundance helps me open up into that. I do believe that it is our birthright. I'm not always acting as if it really works for me. This is a great way for me to practice and to share with you all. The idea for talking about this really came from watching another one of those abundance coaches and noticing how this particular coach, and this was one from Marika Zimmerman, I'm going to be mentioning her again later, there's so much energy to her. And with past coaches, past abundance coaches that I've looked at, worked with, they all seem to have this dynamic energy. Some of them are really perky. There's a lot of high energy. Christy Marie Sheldon is another one that has a lot of wisdom on this. And it's funny, if you don't resonate with that kind of energy, it can be pretty triggering. Like, oh my gosh, why are these people so darn perky, happy, and energetic? And it's like, I can't do that. That was what struck me. And immediately I recognized that one thing that these abundant financial coaches have in common is that energy, is that uplifting, energetic, perkiness, dynamic. What is it about that energy that attracts? So such a fascinating thing, knowing that money is energy and watching these people, and that going back to that original question, why do some of these people seem to have something that some of us don't? What if it is that energy that they're projecting and that emotional well-being of theirs? I found an amazing quote from a gentleman named Ryan Randolph. Ryan Randolph, who says, when we stifle our happiness, we are stifling the very core of our attraction power, our emotional state. I'm going to say that one again because it's pretty neat. When we stifle our happiness, we are stifling the very core of our attraction power, our emotional state. Wow. So that totally supports this idea that energy wants to play with those higher energy feelings, those higher energy people. That's where it wants to flow. Money, if you consider it to be an energy, energy wants to flow and move. Money wants to be in circulation also. Just like that. Money wants to play. Money wants to feel useful. So if we befriend it, that would invite it to come and play with us rather than making it bad and wrong. I'm going to go into that a little bit. Those negative thoughts push away something that wants to be light and in flow and come to play with us. The negative thoughts that we have about money actually push it away from us. We do attract what we resonate. If you are a believer in the law of attraction, whether you believe it or not, it may be working on you. We attract what we resonate. We may outwardly say things like, I like money, and we think that we want it. But what are our deeper beliefs saying? The core energy of what we're feeling about money, that's what's projecting. That is what will either magnetize or push away because energy wants to play with that like energy. Money matches our deepest energy. What are your deeper thoughts about abundance? What's coming up for you so far? Looking back over your life, do you feel that the universe is an abundant place? Is it out there to support you? What kind of thoughts do you have about this? Do you feel that you can't have it all? Is that a belief that you carry around with you? That's very relatable to universal abundance, that feeling that we can't have it all. Do you think that money is hard? Does money cause stress? Those are those deeper energetic beliefs that we have about this that are going to affect the way that energy wants to come to us, hang out with us, stay, play, be useful, or go somewhere else where it's wanted, really, truly needed, desired, and in flow. I would love to hear some other lower energy thoughts that you might have about money. What are some ways that you connect to this? Some people will call those lower energy thoughts limiting beliefs. What are those thoughts that you have about money? Some examples that we put out there. We say things like, you can't take it with you. Or, oh, this is a big one. Money is the root of all evil. Or abundance equals greed. How about that we have to work hard for our money? Money comes when we work hard for it. That there's not enough to go around. You guys see where I'm going with this? Material wealth does not match or resonate with spiritual growth. That's a big one in the healing communities. Material wealth and spiritual growth aren't on the same plane. That's a belief that's out there. These are all negative things that make money wrong. They make it bad. They make it wrong, which pushes the energy of abundance and money away from us. Now, what is interesting is that even with those beliefs, abundance still exists. We can't deny that it's still happening, because what that thinking brings us is a whole lot of nothing. If we think money is bad and wrong, we're pushing it away from us, we get a whole lot of nothing. That is still abundance. It's a lot of nothing. So there's a way of looking at this abundance thing differently. If we can embrace that this is a universal law, it is working on us, no matter what sort of energy we're putting out, it is still working on us. Can we come back to what we can control? Do we want to be attracting what we really are attracting? If we can come back to what we can control, the energy that we're putting out there, little by little, we can open up our perspectives here and really broaden this. Here's an interesting, different way of looking at abundance. If you are among those who feel that you have just a little bit of money, then you're also abundant in the space to receive it. If you feel you only have a little bit of money, you are still abundant. You are just abundant in the space to receive it. Here's how we can start to break this down and look at abundance in a different way. Thoughts on this so far, pipe them in the comment box. I am going to keep offering some different perspectives on this abundant energy. Another way of looking at our abundance is to look at something as simple as our breath, something that we have all the time, something that's supporting us all the time. We are abundant in breath, you might say. That's one way to look at it. Do you consider yourself abundant there? Can you stop to notice that now? That, we're not sitting around all day worried about whether or not our next breath is going to come. That's not something we're thinking about. Oh gosh, is the next one going to come? Is the next one going to come? Our next breath is there when we need it. Our next breath is there when we need it. How abundant is that? Neither are we stockpiling air. Oh gosh, I don't know when that next breath is going to come, so I'm going to hold on to it and stop its circulation. It's kind of a silly way of bringing this up, but we're not doing that either. We're not holding on to the breath for fear that the next one's not going to come, that there's not going to be more. It's a great way of thinking about abundance, just looking at something that we are naturally have all the time. Our breath is just there for us. We are abundant in that. So, you are abundant. There's a way that you can look at abundance. I mentioned earlier how this is a tough limiting belief among the spiritual community, that money doesn't quite match spiritual practices, or money is not godlike, whatever that may be. But is it spiritual to block abundance? Is that a spiritual thing? Is it spiritual to experience lack? Everything's really spiritual. Whatever we choose to experience is our spirituality. But we can't really say one is more spiritual than the other. We can't say that it is spiritual to block our abundance any more than it is spiritual to experience lack. Interesting way of breaking this down. Now, I am not, again, an expert on this. I am going to give some resources at the end here. But what I can offer is a change in perspective on how that abundance comes to us. In addition to the thoughts that we've already mentioned today, can we look at the ways in which we are already abundant? Maybe in putting this on our radar, you'll notice that something comes your way. Maybe you'll receive an extra gift or some piece of generosity. Maybe someone helps you with with something. Maybe you need a stranger that opens you up. Maybe there's an emotional connection or a greeting, or maybe you meet somebody new that can help you with something. Maybe there can be a trade of services coming up for you that can offer opportunity, abundance. Maybe you have an abundance of ideas. Maybe you're super creative. Maybe there's an abundance of ideas getting ready to come to you. Some new options. Maybe there's an abundance of play on your way. Maybe there's an abundance of something that you can share with someone else. Relationships, friendships. Where are you abundant? If we start to open up the way that we look at this abundant conversation, it'll allow that circulation, that flow of energy, even if it's just looking at it in a different way. Abundance is literally everywhere. It's just in how we look at it. We can't really say not this, that. That's not abundance either. So if we start to break up these constructs, we can open up to receiving it, which is a start. Rather than blocking it, I don't know how to do this, let's look at the ways in which we are abundant already and start to open this up. I'm going to share a few resources here. I mentioned Rika Zimmerman earlier. Rika Zimmerman is one of those abundance financial coaches that are out there. High energy. High energy, yes. Yeah. And that may be triggering. And then we can look at where are we stuck? Where are we not opening to that flow of energy? Kristen Sheldon is another one out there. Different kind of high energy. Very light energy. She's got a little laugh that really resonates with that lightness and that flow. And Denise Duffield-Thomas. Denise Duffield-Thomas may be a little bit more geared towards the financial component for entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. And she's got a wonderfully refreshing way of talking about this abundance. Really relatable, superhuman, and there's still that energy there, but super relatable. She's got great videos out there to support. You can even YouTube her. Denise Duffield-Thomas. Lucky Bitch is her website, I believe, luckybitch.com, and her brand. I like her a lot. She's pretty neat. I am going to be posting a link in the comments in a little bit after I wrap, which is going to be shortly here, that will go into one way to clear out those blocks and to start to shift and open up into what could be there, what possibilities could be there for abundance. There are lots of different ways to clear out those beliefs. Tons. If you want to find them, shoot me a message. Do your own research. What are ways to clear those money blocks? And I am going to include one article on a way to do that because it's a little bit of a different type of practice than things that I've shared before. So it's fun to share different ways, different tools on how to do this. I would love to hear your feedback. For those of you checking out the replay later, shoot me a message, drop in the comments. What stood out to you? What are those blocks that you feel you've been carrying around with you? Just looking at them gives us the ability to start to change them, to start to shake apart those things that have been limiting us and start to look at new possibilities for stepping into that abundant way of thinking. Let me know your experiences. I would love to hear it. We're all in this together, and we'll catch you guys next week.